My husband was taken by a beautiful rich woman, who wants him to become a phoenix man and ascend to high society, and wants a divorce from me. Divorce agreement. I signed it directly, leaving with nothing. The apocalypse has arrived, and zombies are rampant, and I was comfortably eating hot pot in my small house with my dad and mom. In my previous life, I pestered him relentlessly, not for any other reason than our childhood sweethearts. Innocent affection. Unfortunately, I overestimated our affection. Zhong-yi found a desperado and had me, lying on my deathbed. The beautiful rich woman came to see me with evidence that Zhong-yi had hired someone to kill me. Her eyes filled with pity. I was actually saved by this woman. Zhong-yi wanted me dead. After the divorce, I returned to my hometown, a small county town that I felt was not prosperous enough and the climate was not good enough. I spent a few days in the small house my parents bought for me when the zombie virus broke out. Thinking of my aging parents, I gathered my courage and went out. Within 5 minutes, I was bitten by a zombie. I fought my way back to my small house, lying on the sofa, waiting for death. Heaven took pity on me, and I was reborn. It just so happened to be the day Zhong-yi wanted to sign the divorce agreement with me. There were steaming hot dishes in front of me, but Zhong-yi was holding the divorce agreement, took a bite of white rice, swallowing the hatred and bitterness churning in my heart. In my previous life, I thought that just telling Zhong-yi I was pregnant, that he was going to be a father, would prevent a divorce. Who knew that the child couldn't compare to Zhong-yi's desire to marry into a wealthy family? The only fortunate thing was that, at the time, I was heartbroken and pestered him endlessly, never telling the scumbag that I'd won 100 million. Hand it over. I'll sign it, I said, quickly signing and handing it to him. Looking at Zhong-yi's feigned sadness was truly nauseating. Wei, I'm sorry, you can go. I don't want to see you anymore. The short distance. Zhong-yi turned back 3 times. I almost laughed. After hiring someone to kill me, why pretend? I went to the hospital alone to have the child aborted and booked a ticket for the next morning. I quickly packed my luggage. The home where I had lived for 7 years was filled with scenes of my life with Zhong-yi. Looking at the jade thumb ring in the jewelry box, bit by bit. The jade thumb ring is a tradition of the Zhong family, given to me by Zhong-yi's mother after we got married. My fingers were gnawed raw by myself. This is my little habit. When my emotions fluctuate greatly, I constantly bite my fingers, didn't pay attention to the fresh blood on my hands, nor did I hold back the tears filling my eyes. I picked up the jade thumb ring and kept rubbing it, tears streaming down non-stop. Beneath the tears was an uncontainable hatred. As I was touching it, the jade thumb ring disappeared. I didn't have time to be sad. My head was fuzzy. Where is it? In the blink of an eye, I appeared in front of a thatched cottage. Bamboo forest, stream, grassland. It was all like a dream. Walking into the thatched cottage, there was another world inside. From the outside, it looked like a thatched cottage with only one room. But walking inside, there was more than one room. Each of the 3 rooms had its own unique features. One room was so vast I couldn't see its end, but the spatial layout of the room was presented in my consciousness. It was an empty room where consciousness could extend infinitely, serving as a storage room. The second room was filled with bottles and jars. The third room was filled with bookshelves, like a library, but the bookshelves were lined with jade tablets. Familiar yet strange characters. Lower realm, chi refining, foundation establishment, familiar routine. Continuing inside, I saw the spirit root testing platform. I placed my hand on the jade, and the elements of water and fire intertwined, dancing gracefully, suppressing the joy in my heart. I picked up the jade slip for a chi refining stage with dual water and fire spiritual roots. I threw myself into it wholeheartedly, focusing on the marrow cleansing pill and chi refining into the body, completely forgetting about time. It's over. I hurried to turn and leave the space. Outside, time seemed unchanged. After trying, 1 hour in the space equals 1 minute outside. I couldn't suppress the smile on my face. Now I can roam freely in the apocalypse. However, I can also clearly feel that the spiritual energy outside is very, very thin. The storage room is preserved fresh. The hot water I took in is still scorching hot when I take it out. The disappeared thumb ring appeared faintly on my palm like a tattoo. Without telling Mom and Dad, I returned to the small county town, opening the familiar yet unfamiliar door of the apartment, located next to the large shopping mall, the tallest building in the whole county town. One elevator, one apartment per floor. I live on the top floor, the 30th floor, with an extra half floor at a 45 degrees angle, which counts as a second floor, is fully furnished. Zhong-yi travels on business frequently, and when he does, is calculated by the month. When he's away, I come back here to live, and also to check on my parents from time to time. Apocalypse countdown, 60 days, thinking about it. There are too many things to prepare. Time is tight. The residents on the 29th floor are renting out their apartment. I'll rent it for 2 months directly, so the renovation won't affect others too much. Replace all the windows in the house with the hardest glass. All the glass is one way, so people outside can't see what's happening inside. Outside the glass, there are also reinforced fences, so even if I open the window, nothing from outside can get in. All radiators are removed, and the entire house is installed with underfloor heating. The entire electrical system is rewired and connected to the backup power. A diesel generator. After the apocalypse, the power went out, but the electrical appliances at home can still be used. The water intake pipes were all renovated, and the water comes from a freshwater tank. The custom freshwater tank is 1 ton. Enough for a long time. The water inlet is large, making it convenient for me to add water. The sewage pipes were renovated. All the sewage inside the house is collected into a box, and pipes are laid to a platform outside the 30th floor. The pipes are made of the hardest material, and the outlet is covered with a lid, with a smart switch and water level reporting. An incinerator was installed. For the toilet, cat litter is used. Some domestic waste is shoveled into the incinerator for sealed incineration. Various settings inside the house that are beneficial for survival in the apocalypse were being vigorously renovated during this month. At the same time, large warehouses began to stand tall along the highway. Countless various supplies were transported inside. It was deserted. The delivery people were different each time, so no one knew that while countless supplies were being transported inside every day, it was never filled. Besides overseeing the renovation progress of the supervisor's house, I also contacted various factories to bring countless goods into the warehouse, and then I would retrieve the goods into my space. Instant noodle factory. Various kinds of instant noodles. 100 boxes of each. Self-heating hot pot. Self-heating rice. Hot and sour noodles. And other various instant foods. 100 boxes of each. 1,000 gene of pork. 1,000 gene of beef. Mutton. 500 slaughtered free range chickens and rabbits, and 16,000 eggs, duck eggs, and goose eggs, 500 boxes, beef and lamb slices box by box, various seasoning products, pots, pans, bowls, and ladles, 600 boxes of compressed biscuits, 700 boxes of various pre-prepared meals. Whenever I have free time, I'm constantly placing orders. All sorts of clothing are also being continuously transported to the warehouse. I bought countless clothes online, and if they fit well, I just buy 20 more exactly the same. The shopping history also includes records of buying clothes for my parents, directly purchasing 40 pieces at a time, winter quilts, summer blankets, all purchased and stocked, sanitary napkins, sanitary cotton, various styles, 1,000 boxes of each are directly stocked. Never felt time was so pressing, like being in high school, although I don't know what I did. But I was spinning like a top, not stopping for a moment. 10 large electric RVs, 10 electric cars, 10 high-power diesel generators, 5,000 barrels of diesel at 3.5 gene per barrel, 3,000 gene of flour, 3,000 gene of rice, 1,000 gene of corn flour, 500 gene of sweet potato flour. Money makes the world go round. After a month of overtime, the room renovation is complete, and I can run around everywhere, purchasing items. Spending money is really like flowing water. But with my net worth of 100 million, I borrowed another 10 million from the bank. Various online loans, borrowed a few million, and also borrowed some money by mortgaging my house. Borrowing has risks. Investment requires caution. 30 days left until the apocalypse. I was driving a big truck around everywhere, collecting all sorts of unsold fruits from villages, and packing 100 portions of each local delicacy into my space at once. 500 sacks of corn, 500 sacks of potatoes, 300 bags of various dried goods, etc. What I collected was only a portion of the items in this area, so they would still have food when the apocalypse arrived. With 10 days left, I returned to the 29th floor and spent my days receiving goods, constantly stuffing things into my space, from getting headaches after storing a little bit of goods at first, to not getting headaches anymore even when storing continuously. I knew my mental strength must have improved. Compared to headaches, it would hurt my heart even more if these goods weren't put into my space. Every night I would cultivate in my space to improve my strength. Countless nights, all for the sake of surviving the apocalypse. In the last 3 days, I mastered the formation arrays and reached chi refining stage 1. I returned to my parents' home and informed them about the divorce. Then, I made an excuse, saying I wanted to renovate the house and asked them to move in with me temporarily. My parents didn't say much. They knew I wasn't someone who acted on whims or rashly, so there must have been a reason for this. I only packed my clothes and some essentials. I put the things in the 29th floor and will be staying there for now. After much thought, I decided to dilute the well water from my space with regular water for my parents to drink. Dad, Mom, drink water. Scarlett, still tell Mom and Dad why. Dad took a sip of water. This water, does it taste good? I bought it specially. Chatting with my parents about this and that, this topic was naturally skipped. I casually went into a temple on the way and burned some incense, and looked around. I met a monk who brushed past me, but he said to me, "Everything has a cause and effect." I turned around and the monk had disappeared. I originally wanted to tell the whole family that the apocalypse was coming, but because of his words, I gave up the idea. I just posted an article in the family group chat about some virus or other, telling them to prepare more food. Seeing the article, the group chat also started to liven up. Everyone said they should stock up on some food. After all, they had been confined at home before. These past few days, all the meals my parents ate were handled by me. I added a little bit of well water from the space to them, and also gave my parents a tiny pill to strengthen their bodies. Indeed, I found that my parents' stamina had improved a lot and their mental state was much better. With the countdown of the last 12 hours, I moved to the 30th floor with my parents. Before moving, I took their 2 phones first, in case Mom and Dad were too surprised and accidentally posted on dough, which would not be good. Oh my God, Scarlett, why does your toilet look like this? Dad, you come too. I taught my dad and Mom how to use the toilet, and by the way, I showed them around the whole house. The countdown is for the last 6 hours, the 6 in the evening now, and at midnight, the apocalypse will arrive. I feel full of energy these past few days. Your dad and I are going to take a walk outside. I quickly stood at the door. Dad, Mom, don't go out. Didn't I specifically set up a recreation room? Holding my parents' hands, I walked towards the recreation room. Xiaoji, turn on the screen. Switch to the middle, aged and elderly dance mode. Mom, look, you and Dad can dance at home. You can also watch movies here. There's simple fitness equipment, and a massage chair. You two dance here for a while, then try the massage chair. My dad and Mom beamed with joy. Scarlett, you've done a pretty good job with this. Of course, after settling down the 2 elders, I walked to the fire escape on the 29th floor and created a formation. I specifically learned it, a hallucination array, similar to a ghost wall. You can see the fire escape door on the 29th floor. You walk around and around, but you can't get close to it. If you keep walking, you'll just walk out of the fire escape. The fire escape from the 30th floor to the 29th floor is also unreachable. When the power runs out and the elevators stop, others won't be able to reach the 30th floor either. Okay, the formation's spiritual power is exhausted. I'm still too weak, but I guess I can only cultivate to the foundation establishment stage. Cultivators need to consume spiritual energy from heaven and earth to cultivate. Although the space is full of spiritual energy, there will be a day when the spiritual energy is exhausted. Chi refining requires little spiritual energy, but foundation establishment and above consume more spiritual energy. An array. 2 hours passed. Mom and Dad are probably tired from jumping. Dad, Mom, want to watch a movie? We can watch a movie while getting a massage. When you're done, we'll have a late night snack and then sleep. Okay. Mom and Dad were very satisfied with my arrangements, and they forgot that their phones were still with me. Xiaoji, prepare hot water. I want to take a hot bath. Yes, master. Alas, it's a shame that when the apocalypse comes and there's no internet, Xiaoji won't be as smart, but most of its functions will still be usable. After taking a hot bath and doing some skincare, my skin is now in the best condition, thanks to the nourishment from the space's well water and cultivation. My hair is smooth, and I'm a proper little beauty. Prepare ingredients for cooking. For the late night snack, a simple but delicious bowl of pork rib noodles. It's past 11 o'clock. Time for bed. I won't cultivate tonight. Dad and Mom should be completely fine and won't turn into zombies. After nearly 2 months of non-stop work, I finally have a night to sleep peacefully. In my sleep, a rumbling sound echoed. It started pouring outside with lightning and thunder. However, the house is installed with sound insulation cotton everywhere, so the sound isn't too loud. Drowsily, I fell into a deep sleep, woke up in the early morning. The sun was just right outside. Rushed to my parents' room. Both Dad and Mom were in a coma, with high fever. They should be awakening their superpowers. I kept changing ice packs for them. That's all I could do. The family group chats were bombarding with messages. One for Dad's side, one for Mom's side, but Mom's side had more people, because Grandma had 8 children, and Mom was the youngest. The apocalypse is here. The zombie virus has broken out. Tie up everyone with a high fever. Lock them in separate rooms. Absolutely do not go out, and do not send them to the hospital. I sent this message last night. No one spoke in Dad's family group chat, and on Mom's side, only third uncle replied with a question mark. After sending this message, I went to sleep, woke up in the morning and saw that the group messages had exploded, and many more people had joined Mom's family group chat. Family members who turn into zombies. Kill them directly. Don't be soft-hearted. Absolutely do not go out. Many more people private messaged me, but I didn't reply to any of them. After Dad and Mom wake up, I'll deal with other people's matters. Dad and Mom are the ones who love me the most, the ones I care about the most. The fever wouldn't go down, and I could only sit by their side, worrying. Opened my phone to watch live streams. Someone was holding their phone towards the hospital. The hospital was in chaos. Sounds of calling for help. Screams. On the main road, someone was sitting in a car live streaming. So unlucky. It's early in the morning, and everyone is busy going to work. Why aren't the traffic police here yet? Immediately, screams erupted, and the person live streaming stopped too. The entire video platform was filled with content about the apocalypse. When I first browsed, some live videos were still being taken down, but later the situation became uncontrollable, and the whole world went into chaos. After watching for a while, I couldn't take it anymore. My head felt empty. I didn't want to think about anything, and I couldn't think at all. 3 hours passed, and Mom woke up first. I quickly wiped her face and hands. She was covered in sweat. Scarlet, why are you sitting by me and Dad's bed? My head feels so fuzzy. Why is there a flicker of flame coming out of my finger? Mom, don't panic. Here, I'll get you a bowl of porridge first. Drink this. Fever consumes energy, so you must be hungry by now. I took a can of 8 treasure porridge from the refrigerator and warmed it in hot water for a short while. It was a hot summer day, so warm porridge was just right. Scarlet, why isn't your dad awake yet? Oh my, his forehead is so hot. My mom and I briefly explained. Mom watched me while drinking the porridge, almost saying the words, I don't believe you at all. It's understandable. After all, they have no understanding of the concept of zombies at all. After Mom finished her porridge, Dad also woke up. I got Dad a bottle of 8 treasure porridge and told him the story again. After both of them finished drinking, I handed over their phones, saying, you two can watch videos for a while. Mom, you have fire abilities. Dad, what about you? Dad stretched out his palm, and a few water droplets appeared. Dad, you have water abilities. Their current belief in the apocalypse is 30%. I showed them separately. My spiritual power, fire spewing from my left hand, water spewing from my right. If they hadn't experienced this phenomenon themselves, they would have definitely laughed and said I was doing magic. Belief level is 50%. You can watch Doe now. They didn't resist this at all. Usually, I nag them about watching less phone. But this time I took the initiative, and Mom even gave me a suspicious look. I felt both speechless and happy. Happy that Mom and Dad are still here, and I'm still alive. The more they watched Doeen, the uglier their expressions became. Dad's face was solemn. So the constant noises outside now, are people calling for help? Probably. As for food and stuff, Mom and Dad, don't worry, I've prepared everything. Also, I changed the door to the fire escape on the 30th floor, and it's locked now. Whatever you want to watch, don't go down to see it. I took out the binoculars and looked down at the complex. Zombies were wandering around, so ugly I didn't want to look a second time. My dad and Mom are slow to accept new things, and they were a bit silent for a moment. My mom took the binoculars, and before she could look at them for 2 seconds, she threw them far away. My dad happened to catch them, took a look, and directly threw the binoculars to me, hugging my mom. The two of them sat on the sofa and were silent for a while. I knew their hearts had suffered a huge shock, so I spoke first. Mom and Dad, don't worry, I'm here. Didn't you also see my abilities? I'm so awesome. I don't even bat an eye at those zombies. My mom looked at me with some disapproval, and her tone was a bit serious. What do you mean you don't bat an eye? I watched the videos, how scary those zombies are. And didn't you also say that if you get injured by a zombie, you'll be infected and turn into one? I didn't say much more. I knew my mom was afraid something would happen to me. In the following days, I accompanied my parents. We cooked together, played games together, worked out together, and watched movies together, trying to alleviate their fear of the apocalypse. Whenever there was a sound from outside, my mom would get a bit jumpy. My dad would block the door with heavy objects, and the dark circles under their eyes made me feel very sorry for them. The sound of the door being knocked on, the wails, the cries for help, and finally silence. Someone was knocking on the door of the 28th floor. It reached the 30th floor, and it wasn't that loud, but it was still noticeable. Mom and Dad. Mom took my hand. Sit down, Scarlett. The three of us sat on the sofa, and Dad said earnestly, Scarlett, Mom and Dad have always known you're a kind and upright person, and you've always been Mom and Dad's pride. Mom wiped her tears and said with a choked voice, now Mom and Dad hope you can be a selfish person. Can you do that? Even before the apocalypse, people's hearts were complicated. After the apocalypse, there's no order, no morality. Mom and Dad said a lot of heartfelt things to me, which I really didn't expect. I listened attentively, and my heart felt warm. Normally, I'm very well protected by Mom and Dad. In my previous life, I died right when the apocalypse began. I know my own character. I have a few tricks up my sleeve, but not many. After Mom and Dad finished talking, they returned my phone to me. During the few days I spent with them, they had actually confiscated my phone. I opened my phone, and messages kept popping up. From my third aunt, Scarlett, can you come and see your uncle? He's sick and has a high fever. Your brother and sister, in-law can't be reached, and Emma and Paula are with them. From my good friend Sarah, Scarlett, are you busy? You told me to prepare more food, and I did, but now I don't seem to be able to use it. In a video, Sarah's arm was bleeding profusely, with zombies constantly banging on the door and roaring. Concerned greetings, calls for help, doubts, all sorts of news, all disappeared yesterday, bit by bit. All places lost power and internet. For a moment, I had mixed feelings. Do I have the ability to save people? Can I defeat the zombies? Raised in love, I haven't experienced much darkness. Delicate and soft, I'm actually quite timid. I've only watched a few zombie movies, and after watching them, I couldn't sleep all night from being scared. Do I really dare to kill the zombies outside? I'm not sure. I might have the ability, but not the courage. This world isn't a novel. I'm just a very lucky ordinary person. After thinking it through, I stopped thinking about complicated things. I'll just take care of myself. Everyone has their own fate. For a month, I stayed at home with my parents. During the day, I trained intensely with them to improve my physical fitness, and also helped them train their special abilities. At night, I practiced in my space. Unfortunately, except for me, no other living things can enter. Otherwise, my parents could have practiced in there too. After a month, I confessed everything to my parents. Before the apocalypse, I had nightmares about the end of the world. I had a space where I could practice. Before the apocalypse, I also won $100 million. My space is full of things I bought before the end of the world. I didn't want to tell my parents about my rebirth experience. I was afraid they would be sad. No, don't you guys have any questions? After listening to all my nonsense, why aren't you reacting at all? You know, Mom and Dad will always believe in you. Mom and Dad looked at me sincerely. My heart instantly felt warm. After a debate between the affirmative and negative sides, Mom and Dad agreed for our family of 3 to go out and explore, to understand the real world outside. We can't stay in our shells forever. We were trembling all the way. When we encountered zombies, I directly used my ice arrow ultimate, and Dad and Mom provided support from behind. In the more prosperous areas of the county town, it was either blocked here or there. So we walked towards the national highway on foot. We heard from the radio that there was a safe zone in B City, and B City happened to be next to our small county town. Dad also knew the way, so we decided to head to B City. These past few days on the road, some places were completely blockable but were starkly presented before us. Mom threw up several times. No, Dad, this should be Maja Town. Look at this sign. Dad was surprised. We weren't lost. The zombies that popped out from time to time really exhausted me. Actually, gradually, I wasn't scared anymore, as if, help, a woman, standing on the second floor, was waving something in her hand. I don't know what. The voice sounded a bit familiar. This must be a trap. I could sense the presence of several living people around, but it didn't matter. Dad, Mom, let's go take a look. After all, saving a life is better than building a 7-story pagoda. Dad and Mom twitched their lips. Fine. Dad and Mom let me be selfish. After coming out, I found that I was completely different from what they thought. I can sense if there are people within 100 or 200 meters. If I sense them, I'll just take a detour without hesitation. I walked to the second floor and opened the door. The woman was facing the door. For a moment, we looked at each other in silence. Wei ran. The woman's expression was very flustered, and her lips mouthed. At the same time, a man came out of the closet. The man had shifty eyes and was holding a gun. Raise your hands. How many big fish did you catch? While saying that, he let out a lewd laugh. It was truly searing. A water arrow hit the man's wrist, and the gun fell to the ground. The man's face instantly panicked. He immediately went to pick it up. A water ball hit the man hard against the closet from behind. This gun is a good thing, but it should still be put where it belongs. Don't you think? Scarlet, you guys go quickly. There are people ambushing outside. The woman said anxiously, trying to grab my hand, but I dodged. You bitch, how dare you? Another water ball. With a bang, the man passed out. Talking voices came from downstairs. It was estimated that someone was coming this way. The woman's eyes became fearful, and she was very uneasy. Mom, you watch. Wei ran here. I'm gonna take a look. Opening the door, I stood in the blind spot at the entrance of the stairs. Fifth brother, why isn't it done yet? 3 men walked upstairs. A dozen water balloons landed on the 3 men, who instantly collapsed on the ground, groaning in pain, unable to resist. A rope tied the 3 men together. Dad was pulling the rope in front, and I was watching from the side. I kicked the man at the back. What are you looking around for? Wei Ran licked his dry, cracked lips and silently followed me. Scarlet, really? Are you sure? It's fine. I've got this. Good thing I brought my backpack. Here, drink this. I'll just take a small sip. She quickly raised the bottle, poured water into her mouth, then walked quickly to me, carefully handing me the bottle. In the past, she was always proud and in control in front of me. A wave of bitterness welled up in my heart. No need. You drink it. I have water abilities. Mom looked at Dad. Dad shook his head. Walking into the village, we stopped in front of a large warehouse. Come out. Dad shielded me. Dad, it's okay. I moved past Dad. With a large water ball, the iron gate was smashed open. The person standing at the entrance was knocked backward. The tall, thin man walked out. Miss, don't be too impulsive. Stop fooling around. I'm going in to take a look. The man was sensible and moved aside. The scene inside was shocking. human bones. A girl's bare thighs wrapped in a piece of cloth, with blood seeping through the cloth, and a large pot in the middle emitting the aroma of meat. Several girls, barely clothed, were squatting in the corner. There were no old people or children here, only about 20 men, looking at me with naked eyes. This is a setup to catch us in a trap. Several water balloons knocked down all the men around. I walked up to the girls. I'll take you to the safe zone. If you're willing, you can come with me. Yes, yes. One girl quickly stood up. The other girls silently stood up, not saying anything, just pulling their clothes tighter. Help that girl up. The safe zone is very close to here. I tried my best to remain cool and aloof. You'll protect us, right? A girl asked cautiously. You can stay here. The girl shut her mouth awkwardly. Several water arrows randomly killed lucky spectators. Found some clothes in a villager's house and gave them to the girls to change into. Mom felt sorry for the girls. Mom gave the girls food, and Dad provided water. Thank you, the girls said with tears in their eyes. I stood silently to the side, waiting for them to finish eating. I really want to smoke a cigarette, but that means wasting more time. Wei Ran kept glancing at me. I knew she wouldn't dare to approach me, and I didn't want to approach her either. Let's just leave it at that. We used to be best friends, but I've long been fed up with it. It was always me making concessions, never caring about my feelings. Forget it. It's all in the past. This damn people pleasing persona. While I was feeling down, someone started bothering me. Uncle, and we'll take it. No. My parents are usually kind to people and not good at refusing these unfortunate individuals. All of you shut up. Who dares to give food and drinks to others now? Don't try any tricks with me. But one of the girls was particularly good at talking. My parents had smiles on their faces the whole time. I haven't seen them smile like that in a long time. Me, what a confusing thought. When they were with me, they were all happy. I'm just pretending to be cool in front of others. We'd been on the road all along and finally reached the safe zone on the third day. The safe zone was actually built inside a high school. I spent a full 4 years here once. 3 years of high school plus 1 year of repeating. Such a painful memory. This high school is truly a pure prison, but it's quite suitable as a safe zone. We've delivered you to the safe zone, so let's part ways. A few girls stood at the door looking at each other. One girl knelt directly in front of her parents. It was that girl with high EQ. Uncle, and let me follow you, she said, then kowtowed. The sound was painful to hear. Seeing this, the other girls also stood by the girl. Only Wei Ran walked towards the entrance of the safe zone. Dad, Mom, let's go. Dad and Mom didn't say anything to them. Let's go. Mom linked arms with me, and we walked towards the main entrance together. There were 2 entrances to the safe zone. One for ability users and one for ordinary people. Ordinary people needed to undergo a 12-hour safety period, while ability users only needed to pass a physical examination scan to enter. Come, ladies and gentlemen, I'll help you get your ID cards. The man who led us was very attentive. The former greenery on campus had all been enclosed and turned into places to grow grain. A man was tending to the fields. His back view was a bit familiar. Old Lin, Zhongyi. Dad shook his head. I heard it all, but it didn't matter. After getting the ID cards, weren't they just the old meal cards? A woman took over guiding us. This world is really small. It was my former dormitory manager. This woman was really mean. She had made notes about me several times. You are a family of 3. How nice. My parents were talking with her, thinking back to those past events. They really don't amount to anything, but I know I will never forgive. I'm just that kind of soft-hearted and petty person. You guys are ability users. You live in dorms, and it's 1 person per room. Of course, you 2 as a couple can share a room, but the beds are bunk beds. My parents were arranged to be next door to me. The dorms actually have a place to bathe. In our safe zone, ordinary people are assigned jobs uniformly. Ability users need to pay 2 crystal cores every day as accommodation fees. You can also join the base ability user squad, or work for the base, or of course, act independently. The cafeteria requires crystal cores to pay for meals. Dad handed a crystal core to the dorm manager auntie, and the woman's face immediately lit up. He continued to tell us a lot about this place, then whispered in Mom's ear, if you need anything, You can come find me. Finally, he left with a smile. This place really has nothing but a bed. Mom, Dad, are we really going to stay in this base? Can't cook. Shower time is only for that half hour. And the soundproofing isn't good either. Let's stay for a while first. Didn't that person say the safe zone is still expanding? And there will be housing after a while. By then, forget it. We'll stay here for a while and then we'll go home. Wandering aimlessly around campus. For me, there's really nothing much to stroll about. I'm super familiar with this place. By the second year, I was never caught for being late again. The first floor of the library had become a small market, bustling with noise. Life is pretty good now. I get off work at 6 o'clock. It's just that I don't have a phone. All sorts of sounds filled the air, bursting with life, like returning to a pre-apocalypse wet market. This base gives me a strong sense of detachment, as if I've returned to high school. Familiar teaching buildings, everything familiar yet strange. Scarlet, it was Lucia, once radiant and glamorous, but in just over a month, it had completely disappeared. Sister-in-law, you're here too, and uncle. Everyone was extremely excited. Meeting family in the apocalypse is truly a very lucky thing. Xian and Ce and my brother are here too. Their family of 4 are all ordinary people, living in classrooms, with 20 people in each classroom. Absolutely no privacy. Ordinary people can kill zombies and get dormitory accommodation by providing 2 crystal cores daily. Those who can't kill zombies are assigned jobs by the base, and the base uniformly distributes food. 1 crystal core per week. The food isn't enough to eat, let alone with 2 children here with us. Auntie, I held the 2 children. Xian. I took care of him when he was little. You've all gotten thin. I quickly took food out of my backpack. Eat up quickly. Sister-in-law, you too. Eat quickly. There's also water. My dad and I are both water ability users. Arranged for their family of 4 to stay in my parents' dorm first. Then, found the dorm auntie and spent crystal cores to get my brother a relaxed job. Is there permanent housing? Miss, you've come to the right person. Finally, I learned from the auntie that behind the first high school, across a road, the adjacent residential building was having an internal sale. It had already been cleared, and water and electricity had been set up. In the evening, I took my brother's family to the restaurant for a meal. Brother, you just do this for now. Don't worry about anything else. And, Uncle, Scarlet, what about you guys? My sister-in-law and I will move back. You guys can stay in 1 room and save 2 crystal cores. A man in his late 30s had tear streaks all over his face, looking much older. In my memory, he was always so flamboyant, but now he had a face full of misery. At this moment, I felt like I could no longer be that selfish person, and now I had the strength. The next day, my dad, my mom, and I went out to kill zombies. We still haven't trained enough outside, and we have too few crystal cores. Starting today, I have a goal. Crystal cores. Heads. Zombie tide is here. Run fast. I was looking for zombies, but the nearby zombies had been almost completely cleared. Standing on the 2nd floor, looking down, is truly spectacular. But there are less than 100 zombies. People running. Ugly zombies. Water arrows were continuously aimed at the zombies. How come there's still 1 person blocking us from killing zombies? Pushed down by someone. The nearby zombies were killed. It should be okay. Let's go down. The man ran into the distance, and we walked towards the zombies. You guys run quickly. It's okay. You run quickly, not letting go of a single zombie. All zombies were eliminated in less than 5 minutes. Wearing protective clothing, I dragged all the zombies to an open space. Dad started releasing fireballs, and I couldn't help but release a fireball too. The high temperature made Mom and Dad step back a few paces. Soon, crystal clear crystal cores appeared before our eyes. There were only a little over 50 in total. After sending Mom and Dad back to the safe zone, I started wandering around the base, holding a piece of bloody pork to attract zombies. I didn't dare to go too far, afraid of getting lost and not being able to return. I encountered several groups of people, but no one approached me. After all, it's the apocalypse, and those who dare to be outside alone and clean are not simple people. Rushing back before dark, I harvested another 100, giving all the crystal cores to Mom and Dad. I put a pile of food in the dormitory, which should be enough for them to eat for a long time. I bought a map. I still want to go back and check it out, find them, and bring them back. It's safer here. Mom and Dad will go with you. I really want to, but they're older, and I don't want them to go back and forth. After all, I'm bringing people back this time, and people are the most troublesome. It's okay. I can do it alone. I'll be back soon. Don't worry. I'll be back in 2 or 3 days. Very soon. It's no wonder I'm not scared traveling alone with a map. Unexpectedly, the efficiency was surprisingly high. Driving and walking, I got back to the county town in 2 days. In the silent city, there wasn't a single zombie. How come there aren't any people either? I was going to be a great person this time. Anyone I can save, I'll bring back to the safe zone. Anyone home? The empty city only echoed, and I didn't sense anyone nearby. Took 2 hours to walk to the village. Mom is from this village, but she married into the city. However, some of my aunts and some of my sisters are still married in this village. This village holds too many memories for me. There were no zombies in the village either. Sophia, brother, the door is tightly shut. No one is speaking. I could clearly sense that there should be people here. A man opened the door, and a hint of amazement flashed in his eyes. How many crystal cores? What do you mean? I kicked the man down. The door pushed open, and the familiar yard had become a bit messy. Why are you standing at the door? A woman walked out, smiling fawningly at the man beside her. The man had a prominent nose bridge and undeniably handsome features. New here, you're quite a looker, he said, reaching out to put his arm around my shoulder. I sidestepped. Isla, what do you mean? You know me? The man asked, a little surprised. If you don't know me, then forget it. A classmate I had a crush on in elementary school. Ignoring the man, I said, what's going on? Where's Sophia? And the kids? Rowan, I'll talk to my sister for a bit, said, looking at Isla pleadingly. The man waved his hand. All right. Quickly pulled me behind the yard. The sounds coming from inside the window made me a bit awkward, but didn't seem to care at all. Scarlet, said with a hint of dejection. You probably can't escape. You're so beautiful, and so pure. As he spoke, his dejected tone suddenly turned excited. So pure. Scarlet, are you protected by someone? That's good. That's good. You're pinching me. I didn't explain. Explained the situation to me. Our village had abundant grain reserves. 10 days ago, a group of people arrived and established a small base here. They even turned this place into what they called a soul-seducing den. When you arrived, didn't you see what was posted on the door? I shook my head. Soul-seducing den. Does it mean what I think it means? Nodded. What about Sophia? Covered his face. Inside, I clenched my fist, wanting to rush in desperately. Wow, there's actually such a pretty little girl here. A water arrow hit the man's knee, and Isla, who was following, closed his mouth, about to speak. In the face of absolute strength, nothing else matters. I originally wanted to save more people, but now I think forget it. The people inside have families. With the help of the base leader, the person I wanted to find was found in less than a day. After all, this base isn't big, but I've seen how many relatives I have, and that's not counting relatives of relatives. Fortunately, when I mentioned the condition of another base, many unrelated relatives left. Even now, there are still unrelated relatives trying to put on airs with me. Scarlet, quickly give your little nephew some water to drink. Who is this? Scarlet, she's your old aunt's daughter. In-law, whatever, I'm too lazy to bicker. When we reached the base, my parents were teary-eyed upon seeing these relatives. I originally wanted to give each of my relatives a house, but now there are a bit too many people. Everyone was still living in the classrooms. I went far away every day, desperately killing zombies, buying house after house, and giving them all to my relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc. One house for each family. As for sons and grandsons, I don't care. After entrusting it to the dorm aunt, I left the base with my parents. The family affection of my parents dissipated with their day-by-day greed. After returning to our home in the small county town to recuperate for a month, our family decided to go out again to help the weak and punish the wicked. We got tired of staying put, so we drove our RV all over the country, helping people whenever we saw injustice. and fulfilling my dream of being a heroine. This was also my childhood dream, a sword, a backpack, wandering the world with my sword. Now, I have my parents and our RV. 3 years into the apocalypse, zombies above Tier 5 evolved. Some even gained intelligence. Human abilities evolved, bases developed, and alien beasts multiplied. Zombies versus humans, humans versus alien beasts versus zombies. What will happen to the world? Where will humanity go? Of course, this is not a problem I should worry about. Scarlet, dinner is ready.